Guys, I got a sickness. It's a problem. The only cure is more controllers. That's right. We bought another controller. $40 on the Amazon. The 8BitDo Cross SNK. It's a recreation of the Neo Geo CD controller. So, do I have nostalgia for this controller? No. Do I want one? Yes. Why? Why do we want one? I don't. Okay. Look, there's one reason I want this thing. Is that, and we'll get to the unboxing. Here, let's scroll down here for a second. A perfect recreation of the Neo Geo CD controller. I mean, I wouldn't know. But that circle D-pad, that looks neat, huh? 2.4, Bluetooth, wired. That's actually neat because in the past 8BitDo's controllers, you had to buy a separate receiver. This actually includes it in the box. So this is nice for that. Windows, Android, and Neo Geo Mini. I mean, I don't even know what that is. It does work with the Mister. So if you're like me and you have a Mister set up, it works fine with that. I think it works with the Pi as well. Tribute to the glorious era of the Neo Geo. Here it is. This is the fancy graphics I want to show. It's using micro switches. I'm a sucker for clicky things. I love clicky keyboards, clicky joystick. I got a machine in the back. You guys seen it before. An arcade machine with a Samurai joystick. It clicks. So does this thing. I really wanted to try it just for that clicky stick. I had no idea that this was a thing. That this was a controller back in the day for the Neo Geo. For those that don't know, the Neo Geo, super expensive home console, basically taking the same games you would play in the arcade machines, those big red arcade machines, bring it home. It's super expensive. The CD version of the console was dramatically cheaper. Obviously, discs are cheaper than those massive carts used to have. To further cut costs, because the original had actual good sized joysticks, right? Arcade controllers. The CD had this pad. And I guess to bring some of the arcade feel home, they did have a clicky D-pad, a clicky disc. So that's why I wanted to try this. I mean, look at this. This looks rad. And I'm going to tell you right now, I mean, over in Press B Podcast, we did an episode not too long ago about the best controllers ever, at least according to us. And 8BitDo had an entry there. We had the SN30, which is basically a recreation of the SNES pad with analog joysticks. I love that controller. It's fantastic. Not everything that this company has made has been good. There has been issues. I want to say it's the SN30, the original, not the Pro, but the 30 with no analog sticks. They come in various flavors or colors. The D-pad on that had false diagonals, and there's a few of their other controllers that had that problem. SN30 Pro was fine, though, and I love that controller. This, again, because clicky joystick shouldn't have false inputs. So that's why I thought this would be a great buy. And $40, I mean, we're in a world, guys, when you can buy Joy-Cons for, what, $90 Canadian? It's ridiculous. This is rad. So I saw it available. I did not get a fancy one with fancy graphics. From what I've seen, those graphics look pretty low res. I didn't want to touch that. Plus, again, I don't really have... I mean, I love Neo Geo games. There's quite a bit there I like. Not really a big fan of Fatal Fury and those. I was more of a Samurai Shodown kind of guy, right? When I think of Neo Geo games I play on the Mister, it's Neo Bomberman, Magician Lord, Spin Masters, those kind of games. Metal Slug. I mean, I love that Metal Slug games. So the whole idea with May and Yuri here on the controls and Terry Bogard, not my thing. Plus, I think it's like $5 more expensive, which is crazy. So anyway, let's look at this thing. Let's do a fake unboxing, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Let's check it out here. It comes with a sleeve. All right, open the box. It's nice neoprene sleeve. Is that what the thing is? Maybe it's not neoprene. It's plastic. There's your joystick or your controller. And hold up to the microphone. There is fewer things I enjoy in life than the sound of a clicky stick. I'm sorry. I'm that asshole in an office in a cubicle, your cubicle farm, typing away in cherry blue switches, driving everybody nuts. That's me, unfortunately. It's a good thing I work from home these days. So yeah, so this is basically a recreation of the Neo Geo CD controller. It's got the 4 buttons, the clicky stick. Of course, it's 8BitDo, and it's also, some modern things, including L and R buttons. That's fine. You have your pairing button, USB-C, which is great. Everything needs to use USB-C. Select and start, also minus and plus for the Nintendo Switch, and also has 2 function buttons. I can never get the start button to work on the Mister. The Mister runs on Linux, but this button works just fine if you want to pull up a menu, for example. And I think on Windows, I believe this button pulls up Steam, if you have Steam open. So it's like a catch-all menu button. On the back, you have a switch between Bluetooth and 2.4 gigahertz. That's great. 2.4 is preferred, but you need to use the dongle. And again, as I said, documentation, who cares? There's the dongle right there for your 2.4. That's fantastic to include that in the box, like especially for the price. And then you have, well, I don't know what this is for, really. Maybe I guess for the dongle, if you want to plug it into a USB-C port somewhere, I guess. And it also included USB-C cable. Why is that not in the box? Because fake unboxing. I've already opened this. I've already tested it. I wanted to see if there was firmware. There wasn't. Although there is firmware for the dongle. So be aware of that. I think it had support for the Switch. But otherwise, it worked out of the box. But I wanted to check for you guys. So, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, the buttons are flat. I'm not a fan of flat buttons, but I get where they're coming from. I kind of prefer the American SNES style pad with the concave buttons, or Genesis. The Genesis 3-button controller to me is king. I love the buttons in that thing. These are a good size. They feel pretty good. They are not clicky, but they feel really solid. But the joystick, you can go 8 ways, but there's 4 mechanical switches in there, and they feel fantastic. It's a stiff joystick, but I could really see the advantage in certain games for this. I mean, if you know anything about me and press B and the stupid challenge I've signed myself up for, I'm going to play Battletoads on it in a minute. But I want to try another game that might be maybe more up the style of this controller. I'm not going to play Neo Geo because you don't need to see me suck at video games. But let's see what else we can play here. So we're going to pull up the Mister. Let's see. Let's look at a Genesis game. Let's see. What's a good one? You know what? Let's do Dynamite Heady. I've not played that in a while. Where's Dynamite Heady? Not for the Game Gear. Get out of here with Game Gear. There she is. Nope, that's beta. This is the kind of low-rate B-level content you can expect here at Press B to cancel. You're welcome. You know what? Let's just go with 1. And let's pull it up. So yeah, I mean, 4-button layout and the 2 on the top, great for SNES. NES is fine. Genesis 3-button, totally fine. Actually, you could do 6-button, but I mean, it'd be wonky. But ABC, totally fine. And of course, Neo Geo games work fine. Another reason I don't want to play Neo Geo on this thing is, for me, Neo Geo, my nostalgia is playing Neo Geo in the arcades. That 4-button layout and a stick. It's hard for me to play those games on a controller like this. But this controller, and the reason I bought it is for everything else. Let me see if we can start. You know what would help? You know, it'd make this a lot easier if we plugged it in. There we go. Now we're cooking. I mean, I could connect it with Bluetooth, but why? Here we go. This is probably one of my favorite games on the Genesis. Treasure. They always make great games. Let's see here. So the reason I picked this game is you can actually control the direction of your head in 8 directions. Is there a jump button? No. But yeah, it feels really good. Like, I'm thinking Castlevania games. Super Castlevania. Oh yeah. If I can find my character on the screen. Contra, I think, is 8-way shooting. This is fantastic. Like, it's very stiff, but like no false inputs. Pretty awesome. Like, when you play this on like an original Genesis controller, for example, the Genesis controller has that disc And I like it. I like the gesture control a lot, but this feels a lot more precise with your inputs. Like up, left. Yeah. That was the boss. Let's see if we can get past the boss. Let's just try that. I don't have jump bound. So that's this way hard. Oh, jump is over there. Oh, why? That's awful. On a shoulder button. Weird. One of my favorite games on the NS, but it's also a really brutally hard game. Did I not hit him? Oh, I'm gonna die. We're gonna die, son. Oh. we did it. I'll take it. There's a tutorial section in the beginning I want to try. There's one specific tutorial that'll really help us test this stick out. Let's try and do that.
Yes.
Here we go. Yeah, definitely check your keybinds. Don't be like me. This is the one. On this one, we got to hit all around the clock here. Let's see if we can do this one. So far, so good. Oh. Jeez, calm down. But I mean, it like take my lack of skill into account, but I mean, this is pretty good. Oh boy. All right, I think I've had enough. Oh boy, just end it. What the hell? Good enough. Good enough. But you get the idea. Definitely plays well with that kind of game. Any game where you have to go like in all directions. Let's just look at Super Castlevania. Let's look at that real quick. That's another one. We'll see how the binds look for this one. This is another game I've been meaning to beat, but never got a time to do. Okay, so I got whip. Yeah, see, whip. Oh yeah, this is great. Little jinglies. You can probably hear them in the microphone. If you like that sound, you're welcome. If you don't, sorry. No, I think if you buy this controller, you know what you're buying. You're buying a clicky ass joystick. That's what you want. Like this is a pretty unique controller. Like I was saying before, I have not heard of a clicky joystick or a clicky pad. It's always been mechanical switches on an arcade stick. That's kind of been the thing. For this to be on a pad is really rad. I wish I was a kid with money. I wish I was that 10, 12-year-old kid and rich parents and I could afford a Neo Geo. I would have loved this controller. And I think I would have appreciated this more, this recreation. But man, if this is close to what it was like back then, this is amazing. Let's see if we can... Yeah, diagonal attacks, no problem. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is awesome. All around the clock. It's fantastic controller. This is great. All right, let's just do one last test. Let's try some Battletoads, because you know I was going to. I have that available. I guess we'll play this version. PAL version. No, we're not doing PAL version. Game Gear. I recently updated my Mister and re-downloaded all the files. So that kind of messed things up. I guess we're playing the Japanese version. Why not? Let's see if this works. Now I'm wondering how this will be, because in this game you double tap to run. I don't know if double tap will work with this controller very well, but let's see. And again, if you want to hear that sound, that wonderful clicking. Oh yeah. Double tapping is a bit rough to do. It's a little bit... hurts the finger a bit to do. So you know what? I wonder if there's like... maybe there's not Neo Geo games that had double tap to run? But it's pretty common for other games, other systems. Like you can do it, but it's gonna wear on your hand. I should probably take the big stick. Yeah, see, it's not either consistent. Yeah, see, I missed it there. So, ooh, almost fell. Yeah, so that's good. Double tap's not going to work. So I would not do this with a game that requires double taps. But for like anything that requires 8-way control, whether you're playing Contra or, you know, Super Castlevania like we just did, Dynamite Heady where you're throwing that head in any direction, this would be awesome. And again, this is not analog, right? This is not an analog joystick at all. This is digital. This is a D-pad. It just so happens the cardinal directions are micro switches. Like, this is fine. So, I mean, this is great. This is a great controller. I think it's fantastic. Like, honestly, I never knew I wanted this kind of stick. I didn't know it existed. I did not know it existed, but it's fantastic. It's well made. It's solid. 8BitDo makes great stuff. I know some of their past controllers with the D-pad, the classic cross D-pad, people would complain that it had false diagonals. This does not have that problem because it's actually micro switches. We saw on the webpage. If this is like even remotely a curiosity to you, $40 US, that's fantastic. I think this is a great value. So that's the Neo Geo SNK recreation, and it's from the Neo Geo CD. That's just a fantastic all-around controller. If you enjoy this and you enjoy my sound of my voice, then check us out. Press B to cancel. We have a podcast live here on YouTube every Friday at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. or you can catch the audio versions of our show on literally any podcast platform you can think of, from Apple iTunes to Google Podcasts to Amazon Music even. I don't know. So this has been Sick Jake. Have a great night.